Liu San nodded bitterly. He placed a small wooden case on the ground. The case rose into the air. But instead of flying to the vulture escort, it flew straight into Wang Lin's hand. Liu San recoiled, spy. The box flew into Wang Lin's hand. Song Xing, the vulture escort leader, screamed in rage, "You dare." He lunged at Wang Lin. The mighty escort guards scrambled out of the way. Wang Lin didn't look up. He opened the box to reveal a shriveled ginseng covered by a talisman. Song Xing reached for Wang Lin's head, grinning. Suddenly, an invisible force slammed into him. He flew backward, crashing to the ground and coughing blood. Wang Lin sighed at the ginseng. You see an old friend and won't even say hi. A cold-looking youth walked out of the forest, an invisible barrier parting the crowd. 3 fireballs circled him. The black-clothed men bowed, "Boss." The youth ignored Song Xing and stared at Wang Lin. "The person I knew couldn't have stayed exactly the same for 10 years. Who are you?" Wang Lin silently held up a piece of yellow paper, the explosive talisman given to him years ago. The youth froze, then he frowned. "Friend, what is this? Please give me the ginseng. It is important." Wang Lin frowned. The enemy's flying sword was bizarre. Suddenly, a smaller red sword shot out from the main blade, moving blindingly fast. It sliced Wang Lin's black whip into useless wood. The blood cultivator sneered and waved his hand. The main sword flew at Wang Lin. Wang Lin threw Zhang Hu to safety and retreated. An illusion appeared at the sword's tip, and it teleported right in front of him. Wang Lin waved his hand. A jade piece glowed, forming a blue light screen. Crack! The screen fractured under the impact. Wang Lin spat spiritual energy into the shield, turning it green and sealing the cracks. But the jade itself began to fracture. The blood cultivator narrowed his eyes, not just 8th layer, but even if you are Foundation establishment, you won't survive this. He recalled the sword. It entered the scabbard halfway, turned black, and flew out again, radiating terrifying power. Wang Lin's eyes went cold. This was his first real fight against someone of equal level. His opponent had better treasures. He slapped his bag of holding and took out an ancient jade, the life-saving gift from ancestor Liu Wenju. He spat spiritual energy onto it. Golden symbols floated out, radiating majesty. Killing intent flared in Wang Lin's eyes. The blood cultivator hesitated, then fused 2 golden orbs into his sword. It turned black with golden spots and flew at Wang Lin, surrounded by dark swirls. Wang Lin pointed at the ancient jade. 9 golden symbols aligned in the air. He formed a seal. 3 symbols glowed and surrounded the enemy sword, linking with lightning to form a cage. The sword buzzed like a trapped beast, unable to break free. The blood cultivator gasped, a core treasure. Fear flashed in his eyes. He reached for his scabbard. Wang Lin sneered. He changed his hand seal. The remaining 6 symbols shot toward the man. The cultivator threw out defensive jades, but they shattered uselessly against the golden symbols. Despair filled his face. "Fellow cultivator, I'm old man Jimo's disciple." The first symbol hit his chest. Crunch! His chest caved in. Blood sprayed from his mouth. The second symbol pierced him through. The third disintegrated his body entirely. Only the black scabbard fell to the ground, unharmed. Wang Lin breathed heavily, sweat dripping from his forehead. He recalled the symbols. The trapped sword stopped struggling. He retrieved the sword and scabbard with attraction force. Sidu Nan spoke seriously. "Wang Lin, I didn't help because my essence is limited, and you need to experience life and death battles to grow." Wang Lin nodded, examining his spoils. Sidu Nan continued, "The sword is strange, but the real treasure is the scabbard." Zhang Hu opened his eyes. He saw the corpse of his master and the treasures in Wang Lin's hands. "He is dead?" Zhang Hu asked, joy spreading across his face. Wang Lin chuckled. "Yes, you denied knowing me because of him." Zhang Hu nodded, touching his chest in relief. "But this is not a good place to talk. Once I finish these people, we can leave." He raised his hand. 3 fireballs appeared. The mortals froze in terror. Wang Lin frowned. Zhang Hu moved instantly, throwing the fireballs not at the innocents, but at the vulture escort bandits. Screams filled the air. The black-clothed men burned, their blood turning into strange golden droplets that Zhang Hu swallowed. He summoned 3 more fireballs, turning toward Liu San's group. "Zhang Hu, don't kill anymore," Wang Lin said heavily. Zhang Hu looked at him. "If they talk, we die. My teacher was old man Jimo's 6th disciple. If Jimo finds out, there is no escape." The scholar trembled. "We promise not to talk." Zhang Hu sneered. "Promises mean nothing when your soul is being refined." Wang Lin pondered. He waved his hand, dragging the survivors together. He pulled out a jade slip, loot from Zhang Kuang. It contained a memory wiping technique. Blue light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, shooting into the eyes of the mortals. They collapsed unconscious. Zhang Hu sighed but lowered his fireballs. They flew away, landing on a distant mountaintop. Zhang Hu sat down and pulled out 2 baked sweet potatoes, handing one to Wang Lin. Try it just like old times. Wang Lin took it, feeling a wave of nostalgia. 10 years had passed in a blink. Zhang Hu ate hungrily. After I left the sect, I wandered. I ate wild herbs and used that weasel's booklet to reach the first layer. Then I met Bai Zhan. He spared me only to make me his blood slave. He poisoned me to control my life. He looked at Wang Lin with envy. You killed him, so you must have reached Foundation Establishment. His sword was powerful. He said no one below Foundation Establishment could match it. Wang Lin shook his head. I haven't reached it yet. Do you know the sword's origin? Zhang Hu thought for a moment. He found it in a cave, but the scabbard is the real treasure. Teacher said only a core formation cultivator can refine it. Wang Lin sat on a rock. Tell me about old man Jimo. Zhang Hu swallowed a bite of potato. Independent cultivator, core formation stage. Very vengeful, he will come for us. You should return to Heng Yue sect. I will hide in Teng Family City. Even Jimo won't dare cause trouble there. Wang Lin smiled wryly. Heng Yue sect exists only in name. The Xuan Dao sect stole the mountain 4 years ago. Zhang Hu was stunned. You didn't migrate with them. Wang Lin ignored the question. What kind of place is Teng Family City? Zhang Hu stuffed the last piece of sweet potato into his mouth. Teng Family City, he explained, owned by the Teng cultivation family in northern Zhao. Their ancestor, Teng Xingxin, is a nascent soul expert. He even killed a few core formation cultivators to enforce the no-fighting rule in the city. He wiped his hands. Entrance fee is 1 low-quality spirit stone. Residency is 1 mid-quality spirit stone per month. I have enough for 6 months. Wang Lin rubbed his chin. Is there an exchange fare? Zhang Hu nodded. Every month, it's huge. Are you going to trade something? Wang Lin smiled. Do you welcome me following you? I don't have many spirit stones. I'm relying on you. They flew to the city, landing outside to walk in compliance with the rules. The city was more like a large town, bustling with cultivators. 2 Teng disciples at the 3rd layer of qi condensation guarded the gate. Wang Lin scanned the queue. Most were low-level cultivators. The strongest was only at the 13th layer. Suddenly, a powerful aura approached. A 30-year-old man, already at Foundation Establishment, strode toward the gate. He waved his sleeve, sending a gust of wind that knocked the weaker cultivators rolling. Wang Lin caught Zhang Hu just in time, stumbling back a few steps himself. He stared coldly at the arrogant newcomer. The man snorted, threw a token to the guards, and walked in without queuing. The guards bowed respectfully. Zhang Hu watched with envy. What level is he to have such power? Foundation Establishment, Wang Lin said quietly. They paid their fees and entered. Zhang Hu rented 2 rooms with his mid-quality stones. I hope this ginseng sells well, Zhang Hu said. We split the profit 50-50. Wang Lin nodded and went to his room. He sat cross-legged, taking out the blood cultivator's sword and scabbard. He threw the sword into the air. It hummed to life, trying to fly away, but invisible walls, Wang Lin's attraction force, blocked it. Frustrated, the sword turned and charged at Wang Lin. Wang Lin calmly summoned a golden symbol from his ancient jade. The sword recoiled in fear, recognizing the power that had killed its master. It began to charge wildly around the room, faster and faster. Wang Lin spat spiritual energy at it. The sword vanished, teleporting to the door. Its color shifted from black to blue, its humming weaker. Wang Lin pointed. The golden symbol chased it. The sword backed away in fear, then teleported again to the window. Its color shifted from blue to green. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. The teleportation drained its energy, changing its color. It was weakening. Sidunan spoke. A treasure with consciousness is hard to refine. Even with its master dead, it fights back. Wang Lin smiled grimly. The harder it fights, the more I want it. He summoned 2 more golden symbols, blocking the sword's escape paths. Even if it teleported again, it was trapped. The flying sword's color shifted to light green, its power waning after 3 teleports. Wang Lin spat out more spiritual energy, trapping it in a corner with the golden symbols. The symbols circled like dragons, forcing the sword back every time it tried to flee. But the sword fought back violently. Night passed. Wang Lin's face was pale. He had consumed 3 gourds of spirit water, but the refining was still incomplete. Morning came, a knock sounded. Wang Lin want to go to the weapons store? Zhang Hu asked. Can't, Wang Lin gasped, critical moment. Zhang Hu sensed the urgency and sat down outside the door to guard him. Another day passed, still incomplete. Desperate, Wang Lin called for help. Sidhu Nan, help me. Sidhu Nan drawled. Finally came to me? Listen, kid. That sword is a high-grade core formation treasure made by a madman during a failed nascent soul breakthrough. To refine it normally would take 10 years. Wang Lin frowned. That long? Yes, Sidhu Nan laughed, unless you use the blood refining technique. It's instant but risky. If the sword breaks, you get hurt. Also. He paused, testing Wang Lin. Also what? I want to see a woman, even if I just watch. Wang Lin vaguely agreed, too desperate to argue. Sidhu Nan taught him the seals. Wang Lin bit his tongue, spitting blood filled with spiritual power. He formed a blood-red symbol in the air and slammed it into the sword. The sword trembled, releasing white gas. Wang Lin spat more blood, forming another symbol. Hours passed. By morning, a sharp hum echoed from the room. The door opened. Wang Lin smiled, though he looked weak. Thank you, Zhang Hu. Zhang Hu stared. A small green sword flew out of Wang Lin's mouth, surrounded by a heavy scent of blood. That's my teacher's sword. You refined it, but why does it smell like blood? Wang Lin grimaced. The blood refining technique leaves a scent. It gets stronger with every kill. Zhang Hu whistled. Impressive. With that teleporting sword, no one at your level can touch you. He reminded Wang Lin about the exchange fair in 3 days and left. Wang Lin took out the black scabbard. Sidhu Nan had praised it endlessly, unable to determine its rank. Wang Lin peered into the scabbard. A terrifying killing intent washed over him, blanking his mind until he saw only the faint illusion of a sword. The scabbard was ancient, radiating an evil aura that mesmerized Wang Lin. When he finally looked away, his understanding of killing intent had deepened. 3 days later, Wang Lin and Zhang Hu explored the bustling Teng family city exchange fair. Zhang Hu went to sell the ginseng, leaving Wang Lin to browse alone. Wang Lin stopped at a stall selling a thick book, Basic Formation Research Asterisk. 10 mid-quality spirit stones, the vendor said dryly. Don't touch if you aren't buying. It was all Wang Lin had. He bought the book and continued browsing, noting the exorbitant prices for wood element materials. Evening fell. Wang Lin returned to the inn but stopped at the entrance. Silence, the usually lively inn was dead quiet. He spread his divine sense. A barrier blocked him. Without a word, Wang Lin shot backward, using his attraction force to launch himself dozens of meters away. Fast reaction, a voice sneered. A young man in a white robe walked out of the inn. Teng Li. Wait here for Zhang Hu. Teng Li ordered 2 old men behind him. Destroy his cultivation and throw him in jail. I will catch this nimble brat. My lord, the rules. One old man hesitated. My grandpa won't mind, Teng Li scoffed. Zhang Hu killed his teacher with outsider help. I am serving justice. He flew into the air, chasing Wang Lin. Wang Lin sprinted for the city walls. Teng family disciples blocked his path. Flying is prohibited, stop. Wang Lin drank a gulp of spirit water. Power exploded in his veins. He smashed through the blockade with his attraction force, scattering the guards. Hundreds of disciples gave chase. Wang Lin's heart was bitter. He had no idea what was happening, but he knew he was in mortal danger. Zhang Hu was on his own. He burst out of the city, racing south. Behind him, a rainbow light shot from the city, bypassing the disciples. A massive, illusory flying sword materialized above Wang Lin, accompanied by falling lightning. Sidhu Nan screamed, nascent-level treasure, retract your divine sense, teleporting. Blue crystal encased Wang Lin just as the sword struck. Boom! The ground shattered, lightning surged. Wang Lin vanished, reappearing 300 meters away. He didn't stop running. Sidhu Nan's voice was weak. That bastard is already Foundation establishment. If you were stronger, I could kill him. Teng Li frowned, then smiled. You are the first below core formation to survive my attack. Brother Jimo asked me to kill you, but you are interesting. Wang Lin drank more spirit water, boosting his speed. Teng Li's eyes went cold. Let's see how many times you can teleport. He pointed, the sky darkened. The giant sword descended again. The giant nascent soul sword swung down. Teleport, Sidhu Nan cursed, warping Wang Lin away just in time. Teng Li frowned, sending his own flying sword after Wang Lin. They chased across the sky. Teng family disciples soon gave up, but Teng Li was relentless. The more he chased, the more he wanted Wang Lin's treasures. Teleportation at chi condensation, that had to be a powerful artifact. Tang Li's speed increased. He was doing this as a favor to Chen Zhang, old man Jimo's eldest disciple. Zhang Hu had killed his master, and Wang Lin was his accomplice. But now it was personal. Tang Li wanted that treasure. Wang Lin drank more spirit water. He spat a green light, the blood-refined sword, at Tang Li. Tang Li sneered, firing a lightning ball to intercept it. Boom! The green light exploded. Tang Li smirked, until the real sword flashed 10 meters in front of him, striking his chest. His clothes disintegrated, revealing glittering armor that absorbed the blow. Sweat poured down Tang Li's face. Without that armor, he would be dead. Cold greed filled his eyes, teleportation, and a sword that can bypass defenses. Everything you have will be mine. 3 days later, in a desert, Wang Lin drank the last of his spirit water. Sidhu Nan warned weakly, I can't teleport anymore, no essence left. He's caught up, Wang Lin said coldly. He saw a fog-covered forest to the west. Without hesitation, he dove in. Tang Li stopped at the edge. The fog blocked divine sense. His grandfather had warned him about this place, a forbidden jungle. But greed won. Tang Li plunged into the fog. Inside, ancient trees towered into the sky. Poisonous insects crawled on rotting leaves. The stench of death was overwhelming. Wang Lin moved fast. Stop, Sidhu Nan shouted. Wang Lin froze. Blue line vines, Sidhu Nan gasped. A rank 2 country was wiped out by these? Wait. It's a baby, but still dangerous. It hunts blood and spiritual energy. Don't use techniques. Wang Lin spotted a vine with a thin blue line. Instead of avoiding it, he cut his finger, flicked a drop of blood onto the vine, and ran. The vine thrashed, awakening others nearby. They writhed in a frenzy, waiting. Moments later, Tang Li arrived. He was using techniques constantly to track Wang Lin, ignoring the ordinary-looking vines on the ground. He sneered, sensing his prey close. But as he passed the patch of vines, the trap sprung. 2 days later, Wang Lin was filling his gourd by a creek, cursing under his breath. This is never going to end. He sensed movement and sprinted deeper into the forest. Tang Li stumbled after him, ragged and desperate. His armor was dull, his right arm limp, his eyes burning with hate. The vines had almost killed him, dissolving his armor with acid. And Wang Lin's relentless sneak attacks had chipped away at his strength. He had been forced to use his grandfather's life-saving treasure just to survive. Now he hated Wang Lin to the bone. Tang Li stopped by the river to drink. The water was sweet. Suddenly his heart skipped a beat. A small green sword materialized inches from his face. Tang Li recoiled instantly, his own sword blocking the strike. The green sword clashed, then vanished. Damn it, Tang Li screamed. I will refine your soul. Deep in the forest, Wang Lin coughed blood, feeling the damage to his sword. But he didn't stop. 5 days later, Wang Lin halted. Powerful spiritual fluctuation to the northwest, Sidhu Nan whispered. Wang Lin investigated. In a clearing, a giant tree lay uprooted. A corpse sat beneath the moonlight, a green bead floating above its head, gathering swirling energy. A green core, Sidhu Nan gasped. A fake core from a rank 4 country's demon sect, powerful and explosive. Is he alive? Wang Lin asked. A zombie with intelligence, Sidhu Nan replied. The zombie noticed them. It flicked a finger, shooting a green light at Wang Lin's forehead. Wang Lin dodged. The light circled him, projecting a blurry image that spoke with a raspy voice. Leaves or die. The image vanished. Wang Lin backed away, eyes cold. He didn't run. Instead, he spread his divine sense and waited for Tang Li. Moments later, Tang Li arrived, sneering. Why aren't you running? Wang Lin attacked instantly, sending his green sword teleporting behind Tang Li. Tang Li was ready. A bell treasure materialized, shielding him. The green sword struck uselessly. Tang Li swung his massive great sword, wreathed in lightning. Wang Lin summoned 4 golden symbols to slow it down, backing toward the zombie. The symbols exploded against the great sword, buying him a second. As the sword crashed down, Wang Lin teleported away, blood trickling from his forehead. Boom! The sword struck the ground, disturbing the zombie. With a ghostly scream, the rotting creature charged at Tang Li. Tang Li's expression changed, a zombie. He fired lightning balls. They exploded against the creature, blowing off chunks of rotting flesh to reveal black bone. Weak, Tang Li sneered, launching his great sword and more lightning. Wang Lin cursed. The zombie was too weak. Cornered, the zombie screamed and spat out its green core. It detonated. A shockwave of green energy obliterated the forest. Tang Li bit his tongue, spitting blood onto his bell to strengthen it. Crack! The bell shattered in seconds. Tang Li threw out treasure after treasure, desperate to survive the blast. The explosion tore through Tang Li's barriers like paper. Wang Lin, protected by a yellow gas cloud, watched coldly. Tang Li stumbled back, his treasures shattered. He was terrified. That zombie's green core explosion had nearly killed him. He had no will left to fight. He backed away, intending to flee. Wang Lin smiled. He raised 2 fingers and pushed. A green light flashed. Tang Li felt a sharp pain in his back. His broken armor barely stopped the sword. Panicked, Tang Li ran without looking back. Wang Lin bit his tongue, spitting blood onto his small green sword. It hummed violently and shot forward, teleporting to strike Tang Li again. Tang Li spun around, eyes bloodshot. He threw out defensive jades and pointed at Wang Lin. His great sword slashed down, accompanied by lightning. It was a gamble. Would Wang Lin dodge and lose control of his sword, or would they both die? Sidunan screamed, "Mad, you are mad, teleporting now." No, Wang Lin shouted, "Stop." He ignored the massive sword falling toward his head. He ignored the blood trickling down his face. Die. The green sword flashed, piercing Tang Li's armor and chest. At the exact same moment, Wang Lin vanished in a blue light, reappearing inches from Tang Li as the great sword smashed into the empty ground. Wang Lin grabbed the dying Tang Li. Sidunan understood instantly. The heaven-defying bead flashed. Cold energy surged into Tang Li, freezing him into a horrified ice sculpture. The zombie roared, but Wang Lin was already gone, teleporting hundreds of meters away. Deep in the forest, Wang Lin sat down, panting. Sidunan's voice trembled with newfound respect. "You are crazy, but you are qualified. With that mindset, you can establish your own sect." Wang Lin stared at the frozen Tang Li. "Can I steal his foundation?" Sidunan laughed. "Absolutely. Late-stage foundation establishment. Your cultivation will rise fast, and you'll gain some of his talent." He taught Wang Lin the foundation stealing technique. Wang Lin carved a hole in a giant tree and dragged Tang Li inside. Morning came. Sidunan melted the ice. Wang Lin spat spiritual energy, forming a mist that he forced into Tang Li's body. He drew a blood symbol in the air and slammed it onto Tang Li's chest. Tang Li's body convulsed. Blood flowed from his orifices, floating in the air instead of dripping. Another symbol, Tang Li's blood vessels burst. A giant ball of blood gathered above him, shrinking under Wang Lin's control until it was fist-sized and glowing red. Wang Lin, soaked in sweat, forced more mist into Tang Li's corpse. Tang Li opened his dead, bloodshot eyes. Wang Lin drew a complex blood symbol in the air and flicked a drop of blood onto Tang Li's forehead. Tang Li groaned. His skin rippled as something moved underneath. The foundation stealing began. Muscles and veins writhed, gathering into a ball of meat on his chest. Wang Lin severed it, leaving only skin and bones. He refined the meat into a small orb. Next, the bones. Wang Lin pointed, and they crumbled to dust, forming a bone orb. Blood, meat, bone. 3 orbs floated in the air, radiating demonic energy. "This technique is cruel," Wang Lin muttered. "Cruel," Sidunan scoffed. "In my country they steal cores, that's cruel. This is child's play." Wang Lin focused. He chanted, drawing white gas from the remains. It coalesced into a tiny, terrified figure, Tang Li's soul. It screamed silently, thrashing against an invisible barrier. Wang Lin waved his hand. A red light pulled the soul toward him. Suddenly, a yellow light erupted from the soul, shattering the red light. The soul retreated, emboldened. "If you kill me," Tang Li's soul shrieked, "my grandfather will hunt you down. He is nascent soul." Wang Lin's eyes were cold. He spat spiritual energy, forming a thin line to drag the soul out. "My grandfather knows he is coming." Wang Lin poured spirit water onto the line, strengthening it. He yanked the soul free. Instantly, the yellow light transformed into a cloud, projecting a blurry figure. "Stop," the figure boomed. "We can talk." "Don't worry," Sidunan said. "Just an illusion avatar. It can't see or attack. It just means the grandfather loves this kid very much." Wang Lin ignored the voice and compressed the soul into a purple orb. "You killed a Tang," the avatar roared. "I will find you. I will kill you." Thousands of miles away, an old man in black robes stood up, Tang Xingson. He coughed black blood, drawing symbols in the air. He sacrificed his own soul to cast a curse. Thunder rumbled. Blood-colored lightning formed a diamond shape in the sky. Curse complete. The pattern fell, imprinting itself onto an effigy of Wang Lin. Back in the tree, a purple diamond appeared on Wang Lin's forehead. He touched it, alarmed. Cursed, Sidunan exclaimed. He sacrificed his lifespan to mark you. Now he can teleport to you if you get close. Wang Lin stood up. Can we break it? Sidunan laughed. Relax. It has no offensive power. I can help you mask it. And when you reach core formation, I can teach you a technique to reverse the curse and steal half his cultivation. Wang Lin relaxed slightly. He pointed at Teng Li's remains again. Specks of golden light floated out, the spirit root. Wang Lin inhaled, devouring the light. Most of it dissipated, rejecting him, but he managed to absorb 1/3. 5 orbs now floated before him: blood, meat, bone, soul, and spirit root. The foundation stealing was in its final stage. Blood, meat, bone, soul, and the spirit root ring. Wang Lin absorbed the spirit root into the spirit fog. Then the blood, meat, and bones. The soul was last. The ring emitted a blinding light. Wang Lin spat blood onto it, completing the fusion. A massive wave of pressure exploded outward. A giant python, a 10-foot ape, and other beasts rushed to investigate, but Wang Lin was already gone. He ran until black sludge oozed from his pores, tearing him apart from the inside. He buried himself deep underground using the attraction force. Safe in the dark, Wang Lin began his third closed-door cultivation. 2 years passed. One day, the ground shook. Poisonous insects fled as a dark figure burst from the earth. Wang Lin, Foundation Establishment. His eyes flashed with electricity. He tested his green sword and the scabbard, now almost fully refined. Sidunan was asleep, exhausted from saving Wang Lin and blocking Teng Hueyuan's senses. Wang Lin needed yin energy to practice the underworld ascension method. He washed the filth from his body in a river, then cast a seeking spell. A white light turned gray, then black, leading him west. When the light vanished, Wang Lin froze. Before him lay endless ruins, collapsed towers, overgrown vegetation, cracks in the earth, a dead civilization. Suddenly, a pillar of white light shot up from a broken tower. A wounded beast limped into the light. In seconds, its bone-deep wound healed completely. Wang Lin watched for a day. The light appeared cyclically, powered by sunlight. Dozens of beasts came to heal. As the sun set, Wang Lin approached the pillar. He cut his arm and thrust it into the light. Instantly healed, not spiritual energy, something else. He climbed the ruined tower. The light came from a massive stone bead, 2 meters wide. He hesitated to move it, fearing he might break its function. He explored the ruins further. Something was strange. Porcelain wares remained intact, some containing a mysterious black substance. As night fell, Wang Lin retreated to the jungle, his eyes shining as he stared back at the ancient city. Wang Lin stared at the massive ruins. A cold hypothesis formed in his mind. A city of 10 million people wiped out in an instant. This was a mass grave. The perfect place to cultivate the underworld ascension method. Sidunan had explained the 4 types of extreme yin: heavenly, earth, mystery, and underworld. Underworld yin came from death. Wang Lin formed a seal, creating a red ball of light to test the yin quality. It flashed 5 times. Ordinary rank 5 underworld yin. He walked deeper into the ruins. The air grew heavy like walking underwater. The light ball brightened. Ordinary rank 8. He pushed further until he reached the giant stone bead. The pressure was suffocating, his blood vessels aching. The red ball split into 2. Good quality rank 1. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He was barely inside the ruins, yet the quality was this high, deeper inside. The yin would be unimaginable. But for now, he needed to start slow. He retreated to the ordinary rank 5 zone. He sat cross-legged and began to cultivate, recalling Sidunan's teachings. The underworld ascension method had 9 layers. Every 3 layers formed a cold core. Complete all 9, fuse the 3 cores, and break through to core formation instantly. It relied on awakening 3 meridians: Danshan, Qi-Si, and Ancestral. Each awakening formed a cold core, turning his spiritual energy cold. Night fell, Wang Lin began the breathing technique: 1 long inhale, 5 short exhales. Yin energy flooded his body. Unlike spiritual energy, which he struggled to absorb, the yin energy entered freely. Was it the nature of yin, his foundation establishment cultivation, or Teng Li's stolen spirit root? He didn't know, he just focused. The cold was biting. It seeped into his organs, freezing him from the inside out. His blood thickened. Frost covered his eyebrows and hair. But he endured. By dawn, he exhaled a breath of white gas. A small, rotating mass of yin energy had formed in his danshan. Wang Lin rubbed his stomach. Underworld ascension method, a technique that brings you close to death, fitting name. Every night he absorbed yin energy. His heartbeat slowed to a crawl, sometimes nearly stopping. During the day, he cultivated in the heaven-defying bead. He discovered it could produce yin spirit liquid, less potent than spiritual energy but crucial for his new path. A month passed, Wang Lin was ready for his first breakthrough. But something was wrong. He stepped out of his fog formation. The animal carcasses he had left were gone, dragged deeper into the ruins. Someone is here. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He quickly set a trap, tossing 2 fresh carcasses outside his formation. Night fell, midnight approached. Silence, the jungle was unnaturally quiet. Suddenly, the yin energy stirred. A figure blurred past, snatching the carcasses faster than the eye could follow. Blue skin, covered in strange symbols and 9 yellow talismans. The creature returned, staring curiously at Wang Lin's fog formation. It charged in. Wang Lin attacked instantly. Fog boiled, rocks shattered. A green light flashed. The blood-refined sword pierced the creature's chest. Blue blood sprayed, freezing into ice crystals. The creature groaned but didn't die. Wang Lin's heart sank. It survived a direct hit. He drew the ancient scabbard. The sword entered, turned black, and shot out again. Boom! The black sword stabbed the creature's chest, explosions rocking its body. It flew backward, the sword stuck inside it, trapped by glowing symbols. Still alive. Wang Lin threw a yellow explosive talisman. Black flames erupted, piercing the creature again. The sword broke free. The creature screamed, ripping off one of the yellow talismans on its body. Green gas enveloped it. When the gas cleared, the creature was fully healed. Wang Lin grimaced. He pushed his sword 3/5 into the scabbard, turning it blood red. This was his limit. The creature stared at him with hate and fear. "Who are you?" Wang Lin asked coldly. "I am here to cultivate," Wang Lin said coldly. "Back off and I will let you go." The blue-skinned man didn't understand. Wang Lin gestured, drawing a line on a broken wall. He split the ruins in half, pointing to his side and making a throat-slitting motion. "Cross this line and you die." The strange man understood. He panicked, mimicking gestures and punching a wall to show his strength. Then he picked up rocks, arranging them. Wang Lin watched closely. He recognized it a formation. He quickly set up his own minor confusion formation. The strange man's eyes lit up. He nodded excitedly, then used a technique to lift the entire rock formation into the air like a floating mountain. He bowed and left. Wang Lin watched him go, wary. That yellow talisman was powerful. Suddenly, the man returned. "You're courting death," Wang Lin growled, summoning his sword. The man stopped, holding a round object. Seeing Wang Lin's cold gaze, he gently rolled it forward and ran away. Wang Lin waited, then examined the object, a dusty, cracked stone bead. He tapped it, weak spiritual energy leaked out. Curious, Wang Lin injected spiritual power. White smoke poured out, forming an old man with a crane's beak and eagle eyes. "Do you dare fight this old man?" The illusion sneered. Wang Lin stepped back, sensing the old man was at the 15th layer of qi condensation. He injected more power. The old man grew to mid-stage foundation establishment, radiating a terrifying aura. "Do you dare fight me?" Wang Lin poured even more power. The old man's cultivation skyrocketed beyond measurement. He clasped his hands behind his back, looking like a peerless master. "Those below core formation have no right to fight me. Scram." Wang Lin withdrew his power. The illusion vanished. He stared at the beads, speechless. It was an illusionary treasure, perfect for intimidation. "The blue-skinned man gave me this to apologize for breaking my formation." Wang Lin mused. "This city is a treasure trove." 2 months passed. Wang Lin gathered enough yin energy for his first breakthrough. The underworld ascension method required breaking the Danshan, Qi Si, and ancestral meridian 3 times each. Break first, then recover stronger. Wang Lin spun the yin energy in his Danshan. Pain flared in his stomach, sharp as a sword. Cold sweat drenched him. A black hole formed in his Danshan, devouring the yin energy. Then it devoured his spiritual energy. Inside the black hole, the 2 energies clashed, fought, and finally fused. A new, cold spiritual power was born. The first layer was complete. Wang Lin was ready to open the meridian in his Danshan. He focused, transferring yin energy into his Danshan. It clashed fiercely with the black hole he had created. Finally, with a burst of pain, the Danshan meridian opened. Mysterious power flooded his body. Wang Lin didn't rest. He charged the second layer. He poured more yin energy into the swirl. It spun faster, resembling a nebula. Night fell, midnight approached. Wang Lin became a black hole, devouring all yin energy within 20 feet. But something went wrong. The swirl grew uncontrollably, 50 feet, 100 feet. It was a vicious cycle. More range meant more yin energy, which expanded the range further. Wang Lin panicked. Sidu Nan was asleep, and the records mentioned nothing about this. The swirl expanded to 1,000 feet. Boom! His dantian broke through for the second time. The black hole's hunger intensified. The entire ruin's yin energy surged toward him like a tidal wave. Even the strange, blue-skinned creature fled in terror, watching from a distance as Wang Lin became the eye of a spiritual storm. Inside Wang Lin, spiritual energy fused with the yin. He regained a sliver of control but couldn't stop the flow. He clenched his teeth. Fine, if I can't stop it, I'll break through again. He smashed the yin energy into his dantian for the third time. It shattered into blue specks, revealing a dark blue crystal. Yin energy flooded it, turning it green. Success, a cold core formed in his dantian. Small hands extended from the core, reaching into every part of his body. His spiritual energy transformed, turning cold. But the yin energy kept coming. He felt bloated, on the verge of exploding. All or nothing, Wang Lin roared in his mind. He attempted the fourth breakthrough, opening the Qi Si in his chest. This was dangerous. Normally, one rested after the third layer, but Wang Lin had no choice. He pushed the yin swirl upward. It slammed against his Qi Si repeatedly. Failure, failure, failure. Over 100 attempts, all failed. Finally, dawn broke. The yin energy dissipated, absorbed by his new cold core. Wang Lin opened his eyes. He had failed the fourth layer, but his cultivation had doubled. He was now at the peak of early-stage foundation establishment. But the danger was clear. He needed higher quality yin energy for the next breakthrough. He remembered the giant stone bead. Good quality, rank 1. He made his decision. Meanwhile, above the forest, the sky darkened. An old man appeared, radiating immense pressure and killing intent. Teng Hueyuan. Li Grandpa is here to avenge you. He couldn't pinpoint Wang Lin's exact location due to Sidu Nan's interference, but he knew he was in this jungle. Teng Hueyuan hesitated. He sensed a terrifying presence deep within the ruins, something even a nascent soul cultivator feared. But grief outweighed fear. He charged into the forest. Deep in the ruins, a coffin lid slid open. A withered hand emerged, glowing with black and purple light. It gripped the air, forming a ball of purple lightning. The 100 years are up, a rasping voice echoed. Master, you escaped last time, but this time, you will not get away. Wang Lin paused. He sensed something in the sky. Forget it, Wang Lin said, tossing the ginseng back. Wrong person. The youth caught it, eyes filled with complex emotion. Thank you, farewell. Suddenly, dark clouds descended. A strange wind blew, forcing everyone back. A middle-aged man in white stepped down from the clouds. Boom, boom. Several escort guards exploded into blood mist. The mist gathered into a single shiny drop, which the man swallowed. His face flushed red. Zhang Hu, the man said, you met an old friend, why deny it? The youth, Zhang Hu, turned cold. Teacher, I don't know him. Wang Lin scanned the newcomer. Peak of the 15th layer, a blood cultivator. The man smiled at Wang Lin. Do you know my disciple? So what if I do? Wang Lin replied. The man laughed. Makes no difference. Drinking your blood will increase my cultivation. Zhang Hu stepped in front of his teacher. Teacher, he is my childhood friend. Please spare him. The man's eyes went cold. Leave. Gather the blood essence of the mortals. He muttered a spell. Zhang Hu collapsed, bleeding from his orifices, writhing in pain. Wang Lin raised an eyebrow. His attraction force lashed out. The man sneered, spitting a green light that became a flying sword. Wang Lin's invisible hand split. One grabbed Zhang Hu, pulling him to safety. The other grabbed the sword. The sword vibrated violently. The man threw out a black scabbard. The sword vanished from Wang Lin's grip and reappeared next to the scabbard, trying to fuse with it. Sidu Nan warned, that sword is strange. The sword turned blue, yanked itself free, and slashed at Wang Lin. Wang Lin summoned his black whip, directing it around the sword to strike the man directly. The man ignored the whip. He pointed at his sword, muttered a chant, and it vanished again, reappearing right in front of him to block the attack. Then he spat a drop of golden blood onto the blade.